Welcome back. This time we're talking about The Disaster Artist, directed and starring James Franco, and telling the story of the stranger-than-fiction tale behind the creation of what is widely considered the worst film ever made, 2003's The Room. Now, I had heard of The Room, as most movie enthusiasts have over the years, but I never actually saw it, and I watched it a few days before seeing The Disaster Artist, and I really didn't see it the way you're supposed to. I watched it by myself. This is a film that you really need to watch with other people, preferably with maybe some alcoholic beverages to assist, because this really is one of the worst films you will ever see in your life. But it is also one of those that finds the perfect bullseye in the so bad it's hilarious target. And as hilarious and odd and weird as this film is, the story behind its creation is even more outlandish and unbelievable, except it's actually true. Franco plays Tommy Wiseau, who is still to this day a very enigmatic character, and we really still don't know much about him. We don't know how old he is, where he was originally from, or how he made the money that he used to produce this disaster of a film. Much of the story is told from the point of view of Greg, played by James Franco's brother Dave. Greg was a guy who was a wannabe actor who meets Tommy during an acting lesson and is just enamored by this man who is not a good actor, but who is willing to just go on stage and give it his 150% all. And the two of them bond over their shared dreams to make it to Hollywood and become famous actors. And when Greg finds out that Tommy actually has an apartment in Los Angeles, they move there and pursue their dreams. And unfortunately for Tommy, he cannot find any success at all, and ultimately decides that if no one's going to cast him in their movie, he's going to make his own, and decides to write, direct, and produce what would eventually be known as The Room. Unfortunately for everyone involved, he's never written a film, never directed a film, and is not a good actor to begin with. And much of the movie is just seeing the strange goings-on behind the camera of how this film was made, and how Tommy apparently spent $6 million of his own money making it. And while the film does have fun at Tommy's expense, it never goes so far that we don't still sympathize with his pursuing his dream. I mean, he is someone who is just dogmatically, single-mindedly pursuing his dream. And honestly, it's somewhat awe-inspiring from the point of view of anyone who has had a dream and looked down the road towards that dream and just went, I can't do that. At no point does Tommy ever say that. And there's just something very powerful about that, even though we're watching him, travel down this road to its inevitable disaster. And I will say the film doesn't gloss over how much of a jerk Tommy could be to the people around him, especially those working on his film. And the fact that Tommy still is a relatively sympathetic character by the end is credit to Franco's performance. He is amazing in this film. It may just be his best performance. He just embodies Tommy's mannerisms, his very odd accent and cadence of speech. All of it is just immaculately replicated on screen. He also directs a very fine movie. There's a lot to like in this movie. As I said, it's one that it is having fun at these ridiculous situations, but there is a core to the story that survives and is frankly awe-inspiring. I will also say that you don't actually have to see The Room to see The Disaster Artist. There are definitely moments where you get to see the creation of certain famous moments, but this is not a recreation of The Room. There are actually several scenes that are just tacked on to right before the credits start rolling, where we get to see how Franco did very minutely recreate certain scenes, but those aren't actually in the movie proper. That was not the goal of this movie. It was to tell this story, and in that it does very well. The Disaster Artist is a just crazy movie. It tells a story that if you made up, no one would ever believe you. And is really one of my favorite films of 2017. Franco's performance is one of my favorites of the year as well. So if you've seen The Disaster Artist, what did you think about it? As always, you can subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the little bell button to get notifications of future videos. You can check out some of my other reviews, and until next time, I'll see you at the movies.